The smallest Lexus SUV is the new Lexus LBX. It sits on the same platform just like the Toyota Yaris Cross. But is this one still a real Lexus? We're going to find out here with Thomas and Autogefühl in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go. Here with the front, it's a typical Lexus design, but you can see the front grille is not as dramatic, but we have a fluent transition to the side graphic, LED headlamps, and the daytime running light is on top. We have a red vehicle here for you, but we'll also have a dark gray one later. Wheels from 17 to 18 inch. These are the bigger 18-inch wheels. And the overall dimensions are 4 meters 19 or 165 inches. So indeed, most compact or even subcompact here, really small SUV. And the interesting thing is that the wheelbase here is actually 2 centimeters longer than the Toyota Yaris Cross. That's hardly anything, so I really wonder, like also cost production-wise, why they have done that. There are some significant differences, Lexus LBX to the Yaris Cross, not only exterior design, for example, also you can have two-tone paint like this black roof, but there are also more dampening measures. For example, in the engine bay, like between engine and the passenger cabin, inside of the doors, and also underneath the roof, that the noise niveau, the NVH, is actually lower than in the Yaris Cross. Then we have also strong shoulders forming here, and these really three-dimensional sculptural tail lamps, also once again with an interesting signature. Turning indicators in the front here, they replace the daytime running light. Looks quite fancy, doesn't it? And here, by the way, when the raindrops are on the car paint, on clean car paint, it always looks great, doesn't it? For filming, it's sometimes tough to film in the rain, but of course we do everything for you. Fun fact, these side mirrors here are directly taken over from the Lexus LC. Turning indicators in the rear, well, this is not what I would expect from a Lexus vehicle. It's just too tiny and too cheap in the look overall. What's your take? Next to our ruby red vehicle, we also have one in Sonic Grey. This is a rather dark grey tone. And we also have it here with the contrasting black roof. Which one would you pick? And of course, there are more colors available. And here in this Japanese style room, we can see even better the rear light signature that goes all the way across the vehicle from left to right. That's a very unique feature. Yes, the LBX also gets a Lexus key fob. That's a good move. And then the door handles are static. They just have some haptic feedback in the back part. And then when we open the door and close it, yeah, it's actually a decent door closing sound. Then the material quality at the inside of the doors, you have somewhat hardback at the top, softer here and here. The overall build quality, like inside of the doors and also where you open and close things, for example, is not super great, but we also have to think about it's a low segment. Here this is the electric door opening, this would be the manual fail-safe. However, great in the build quality are the seats. Super soft, this is the high-grade leatherette material, Tahara or Nulux they call it, and this is the emotion trim. And the emotion trim, the elegant trim, or the base trim with fabric seat, they would be completely animal-free. Also the steering wheel, there are still trims left with animal parts, more about that later. And I can take a test seat first of all in the co-driver seat, and when I slide it all the way back, I sit like this, a little bit farther back than I would go to the driver's seat. I'll soon switch to that. I can already tell you so far, for tall people, it's really good comfort. And still here as a passenger, you also have enough space to this dashboard area. Oh, this is maybe not so good. Maybe it's just a prototype for that reason. I don't know. Yeah, but we'll check out more details right now. Seating position. Yes, it's the smallest Lexus, but the seats are very comfortable indeed. So it works for tall adults like me. 189 or 6'2", still have headroom left, and the material here of the high-grade leatherette, the Nulux or Tahara as it's called at Lexus, depending on the market, it's really, really good. So feeling very comfortable. As for the seating position, steering wheel, manual control, in and out, up and down, smooth process. So I'm really happy with the seating position. It doesn't feel small, at least here in the front. Storage space here underneath. Hello. And we have a classic glove box that takes a while, but it is dampened for that. Oh, yeah. Interesting merch the manufacturers do, right? Well, you can store it, for example, here in this armrest. It's a soft touch cover, and then you slide it backwards and open. There's a second cup holder hidden here and more space underneath. Interior cockpit overview. Really clean, first impression. The steering wheel here, just listen to that. It's high-grade leatherette material, really premium. Also, it's like soft dampened underneath. Then 12.3-inch digital instruments and 9.8, so let's say 10-inch infotainment unit, square actually, but not only digital. Here you still have manual climate knobs directly left and right, 2-zone AC. Why not? It's really good. And here also a manual volume knob. Glad to still have that. Storage space here, adaptive cup holders. Then the shifting lever has this stairs logic. Personally, I prefer more like front and back. What about you? Then we have here the EV mode if you want to induce it, but usually you just run total hybrid mode and that's it. And also electric handbrake. Infotainment system, most of the time you will use here the Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. CarPlay also available wireless. And here heated steering wheel is on the screen. Also the vent strength is on the screen. Just in the temperature you can control still manually. And besides the smartphone integration, you can go back to the Lexus menu here. Then you have all the hotkeys at the left. You can also get in car internal GPS, not included here, but you also don't need it. And then the rest of the function is pretty basic, but you see the responsiveness is somewhat okay. Could be better, could be worse. By the way, here, dashboard soft touch, and this emotion trim comes with red contrast stitching. Seating in the rear door doesn't open too wide, so it could be a problem for child seats. Quality of the materials here on the seat, once again superb on the rear. So very high grade soft leatherette, also plush from the seating. So when you're small enough, then you can also very comfortably sit here. When you're taller actually, and you also have a tall driver like me here, then it is a problem here in the rear. You can see not working with the knees and also with the headroom. Yeah, I do hit the ceiling here. So yeah, it's a city vehicle, more meant for 2+2 or something, or children in the rear and so on. That's it. But considering the length, that's also fine, just to give you the impression. It is also possible here with a fifth seat in the middle, but not really for me, unless I'm doing some magic like this, but yeah. What about the trunk? So you have two different volumes for the front-wheel drive model, which we have here, 330 liters. Oh, more Lexus merch. Anyone needs some tennis socks? Because it's a tennis tournament here, so Lexus made some tennis socks then here. Yeah, here you can see the 330 liters front-wheel drive. Actually, really square dimensions. That's large. So here they paid attention to a large boot, but not so much legroom. Very interesting. And we can even enlarge that here. That's what I said here with the seats. That's just a substantial gap here, but then again you have the whole height here too. The all-wheel drive model would just have 240 liters because this area is higher than, so that's one drawback of the all-wheel drive model. Width, 1 meter or 40 inches, really good. And then here the length, about 73 centimeters or 29 inches. And the second interior trim level, called Cool. What I find cool with this one is the microfiber here called Ultra Sweet in the lower part for better seating comfort, also the middle console for example. However, then here the upper parts are real animal skin leather, so doesn't really make sense and doesn't give you any much, advantage. Same to the steering wheel. And then all contrast stitches are in this golden color everywhere. Under the hood we have a 1.5 liter 3-cylinder, 1, 2, 3, you can see it right there, with 136 horsepower. Acceleration figure is 9.2 seconds to 1 kilometers an hour, 62 miles an hour. And this is actually quicker than the one in the Yaris Cross. Interesting now is that you can either get it with front wheel drive or option with all-wheel drive. Then you get an electric motor, an additional one in the rear. That one also enhances the driving a little bit because you have some power over the rear. It doesn't change the acceleration figure though. And another interesting aspect is usually you have a torsion beam in the rear as for the rear suspension. Then with the all-wheel drive version, there's a double wishbone rear axle, so you get a more elaborated rear axle when you have the all-wheel drive. But it also comes then with this one drawback, with the less trunk space. So have they done enough to differentiate the Lexus LBX to the Toyota Yaris Cross? Well, you have a little bit more power, faster acceleration, and you get this more unique exterior design, and the interior features are more luxurious. My highlight, definitely the perforated leatherette seat like the Snulux or Tahara in our red vehicle here for today. That would be the version I would actually also go for. However, what you open and close, you know, some mechanisms from the middle armrest and so on, that is not really on top luxury quality, which is quite often a problem with the Lexus vehicles. They are quite high in price, yes, and they also offer a lot of great features, but from the detail build quality on the interior, they are not on the same levels as Audi, BMW and Mercedes. However, what's always better with Toyota and Lexus is that they lead almost all reliability rankings. Also the recent consumer reports where Toyota and Lexus was placed 1 and 2. The next one was BMW to follow, by the way, the best from among the Germans. That was a very interesting result. So the thing is, yes, somewhat like the interior build quality, that you find a little bit better with the Germans, but the real reliability aspect, that is really always top notch. So we can also expect the same here from the smallest Lexus LBX. The biggest difference will indeed be in the driving between the Lexus and the Toyota, where we expect more sound dampening, translating into a calmer driving situation and comfort when we drive this car very soon. You'll also join us here in Autogefühl. And now check out the Toyota Yaris Cross, or maybe also another smaller competitor.